It's Richard Nikoley, freetheanimal.com, here in sunny South Phuket. And since it's rainy season, you take advantage of every sunshine day, because soon enough there'll be days on end of rain. So that's what I'm doing. The subject today is the meaninglessness of the term alcoholic or alcoholism, so on and so forth. Before I get to that, a brief admin note. I'm trying to increase the status of this YouTube channel. And so in doing that, I'm getting more into the analytics, the stats, if you will. And I noticed something that in the last month, about 5,000 individual views of my videos, which is a huge increase, a function of doing more of them. But what I found is that out of the a little over 5,000 views, about 1,000 of them, or so are from people actually subscribed to the channel, and the rest, over 4,000, are unsubscribers. Now, of course, some of those people are just popping in for a link, and I don't subscribe to everything I see on YouTube. But if you happen to be a regular watcher of my content and you're not subscribed, could you please hit that subscribe button? You don't have to use any of the notifications. Turn them all off if you don't want any notifications that I put up a new video, any of that stuff. And so you'll just be part of the numbers, and it will help me a little bit. Could you do that for me, Lord Pantanikap, please? Okay, so the term, I've never in my life used the term alcoholic or alcoholism, because I've always considered it meaningless and degrading, and it's a label and it has certain purposes. So first I'll get into that, and then I want to talk about then why is it used when you have better ways of describing things. And I'll tell you why I think it's used, and how it perpetuates certain things. Okay, so first, there's just a much better way to describe it. You drink too much too often, right? That kind of used to be understood. If you have, and the thing is, you could say, well, how much do you drink and how often? And it can be from, a small problem, where you can probably just limit it by setting a limit for yourself, like 2 drinks or 3 drinks when you drink. You can limit it by days, like the people who only drink on the weekends, right? The rest of the week they're not drinking. Upwards to the people who the person who is like just drunk all the fucking time, drinks every day, morning to night, right? Or morning to pass out. And so you have a small problem to a medium problem that may require some outside intervention, maybe some counseling or something like that, or reading some books and so on, to the person who might need some serious intervention, a support network, so on and so forth. This is all easy to understand, and it actually used to be understood like that. I didn't dig deep into the research on this. I'm one of those people who actually thinks and reasons for himself, and not goes around researching so that I know what to think and say. That's just me. So that's the thing. And I remember as a kid in the 70s, where that's my perception of when it could have been going on before that, but that's when I became aware of it. This great debate of whether it's behavior problems, behavior problems, character problems, or whatnot, or is it a disease? Alcoholism is a disease. So you have a meaningless label that's a clinical, comes with a clinical diagnosis, a virtual clinical diagnosis of disease. And why disease? Well, that's to create an industry surrounding it, so that you need all this kind of help about it, and it's not your fault, right? Fuck is your fault, right? You make choices. Every time you take a sip, you're making a choice to take that sip, right? And certainly it alters brain chemistry and such, and dopamine and such, so that you are craving it. So it's more like a craving. It's like you have a craving for cupcakes or some shit, but it's not addictive. And there's very few instances where abstention causes you problems. That's the really, 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 really bad off person who stops, and you can have what's called delirium tremens, which is potentially fatal, but so rare. So granted, in that sense, there can be some sort of clinical diagnosis, but ultimately it's still, you drink too much too often, and it's your choice. It's always your choice, every single time, right? Nobody's pouring a bottle down your throat, right? So it's your own weaknesses, motivations, all that stuff that gets you to drink, right? Your issues of seeking refuge in the bottle rather than actually dealing with the problem. So you're not tackling it through disciplined thought and effort. You're trying to tackle it or escape it by emotion, right? This is simple stuff. It doesn't require a doctor to tell you that, right? People used to understand this, but now it's alcoholism. And so that you can have all of this support and everything. Why? Money. Money, 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 right? Always. Always. The root of all evil, right? And then there's also the ridiculous ass notion that you're always an alcoholic, right? Bullshit. And even accepting the word alcoholic, bullshit. So if you drink too much too often, and then you go to abstinence, for example, or even moderation, you are not drinking too much too often anymore. So it's finished unless you start up again, right? Then you go to drinking too much too often again, right? But alcoholism, or an alcoholic, has a stigma for life. You see it all the time in film, right? People get up in their meetings and say, "Hi, I'm Richard and I'm an alcoholic," right? You hear it all the time. Why? Why? It's to stigmatize you, to keep you a victim. But it's a disease, so it's not really your fault. You still need help all the time. You need perpetual help the rest of your life. Fuck off. You mean to tell me that guy who hasn't had a drink in 10 years is an alcoholic? How does he even know, right? There's many people who either cure their problem and limit, and so they go to a moderate, typical moderate drinker, right? There's also people who, after some period of abstinence, take up moderate drinking again, right? And many of them, I don't know how many, but in the thousands at least, I've read the stories, right? I actually know a person who does that. Didn't drink a drop for many years, now has a little red wine with a steak, no problem, right? Is she an alcoholic still, right? Bullshit. Bullshit, right? Then there's the final element of it, which goes right back to the old doctrine of original sin. You're born guilty, right? So you are because so you've done this, and it's a disease, so you're born with it. You had a propensity, whatever, and it's always a problem. You're always going to need help, forever and ever and ever again, at a price, right? And just like original sin in the Bible, you'll always be in need of redemption, right? And because you're helpless. You're a helpless little lamb. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Tell them to fuck off, right? Do your own thing. Figure it out yourself. And just stop fucking drinking too much too often, right? It's simple. Okay, short one today. Bye.